Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is Answering Your Financial Questions live with Coach Steve Money. That's me. And we have audio, so hey, let's get into it. Again, I'm Coach Steve Money, and you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And for my financial content, just go past the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist, 572 in there. And Answering Your Financial Questions stream. And there are, tonight is 165 number episode. And the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including such hits like How to Do the Baby's Limbs Right. And I wrote that one because the questions I answer here from the Reddit and Facebook groups that I grab the questions from or comments and that I comment on or answer, as I said, are mostly people doing it wrong, and the How to Do the Baby Steps Right song goes over a bunch of the things that people do incorrectly. They're doing it wrong, though. Is the main point. All right, let's get into some questions. Not necessarily a market report today, which I do market report in the Ramsey Show After Show. But today, a new high for the NASDAQ. And so, you dummies that are just doing the S&P 500 index fund for your investing, you are leaving money on the table by not doing some NASDAQ as well, or the NASDAQ instead. You are losing money. Alrighty. Insight Discern, and this is a person that posts on here a lot. I don't really remember them being, let's see, is this worded? I did skim this right beforehand. Of course, I should have also opened the entire thing. See how long it is? Not that long, but okay. So, negative, condescending, thinks to be insightful, but they're actually just dumb as always. Let's see. I like most of Dave's ideas. They always give the justification station there, but don't agree on baby step 6. I don't give a crap. And so probably what you want to do is debt leverage. And I understand, right, debt leverage and make money on your money while making more interest or returns on the market than you are paying in interest on the mortgage. So that's called debt leverage, though, and that's a no for Mr. Ramsey. You don't like that part? You don't like the no debt thing? That's basically that's the pillar, the cornerstone, if you will, of the Ramsey advice. No debt and no debt freaking leverage. I understand the idea of not having a mortgage is good for cash flow and you can invest more afterwards. Yes, you understand it completely. Why are you being dumb about this? However, the idea that you have full peace with not having a mortgage is not entirely accurate. Yes, it is. It is the best you can do as far as home. Yes, you'll have these other things. Let's say you still have to pay your home insurance and property taxes on it. Yes, you do. Also with a car, and you should pay those off too. You can still lose your house and be foreclosed on if you don't pay the property taxes on it. Right, you have to pay that on there. And so nobody's saying you pay the mortgage off. See, this is a thing called reality, and you're just trying to think of something to talk about. You think you're being deep or something? I don't know. Weird. If your mortgage-free house burns down and gets destroyed in an earthquake, there's no guarantee that your home insurance will cover the cost to give you back your equity. If they do, they may only cover part of your equity that you had. All or most of that cash could literally be gone, and that depends on your property tax. So you got to get the right kind so that you actually get money back. Let's see, if I'd been investing the money in a brokerage account, earning an average 10%, yeah, that's debt leverage, and that is exactly where I knew you were going with this, because all the financial pros do. Basically, this person is just trolling here. It's maybe a different level of trolling where he thinks or is pretending to be, oh, I just thought of this great point, and I need to share it with everybody. Let's see, I'd be able to talk about that rather than hope my home insurance comes through. To me, that it doesn't matter what peace is to you. You're only talking for yourself. So let's see. In fact, it's risk to put so much money in your house at the expense of having liquid cash. Okay, well, you can do whatever you want to, dog. What? Let's see. That video helped me to change my mind. So just want you to watch a video. Maybe it's a video that that person did, or who knows. Dumb. Just dumb. You know, I mean, go on financialbros.com or something like that. Reddit/r/financialbros. I don't know that there's one of that, but or just general financial stuff. But no, actually on the Ramsey thing, say, I don't disagree. I mean, I disagree with Dave Ramsey. Dumb. And of course, I just, validated you by talking about it. So, but also, you're dumb. You're dumb. Do what you want to do. Knock yourself out. Dave is fine with you doing whatever dumb crap you want to do. He knows that most people will not take the Ramsey advice. The Ramsey advice is the way it is because it does give peace. And if the same things don't give you peace, they give most people peace, well, then you're a dumbass. And nobody is saying, people have said that forever since I've been listening to Dave Ramsey since the 1990s. Dumbass people have been saying that, oh, well, you still have to pay taxes and you still have to pay your heat bill, electric bill. You still have to pay all that stuff. Yes, you do, the same as you would if you were renting. What does that have to do with anything? And also people think that, your utilities and such like that are also debt. They are not. Now, you get past due on it. Maybe then you can call it debt, but otherwise it's just an monthly expense. So quit being dumb, Insight Discern. Can't wait to see your next post because I'll certainly remember your name now. Good job, good job, good job. Yeah, I don't know this capital preservation strategy. I think it just means to live off the returns the mutual funds generate and to not ever have to take out more than the principal, meaning the basis that you have in there. So say you have $1 million in your retirement account. The idea is that you be able to leave that million and never touch that million. And then you live off of the $100,000 a year that it generates. Now, if you don't have that in a Roth account, that's your dumbass fault, and you'll have to pay some taxes on it, so it won't actually be 10% if the market makes 10%. If it's a Roth account, you will already have paid taxes on the contributions, so you do not pay taxes on any of the growth. Doesn't that sound better? Yes, it does, but there are dumb people that think that is not the way to go either. But anyway, capital preservation strategy, what that is that means you don't take out more than that. For that example, $1 million generates $100,000. HXXYD. How's it going? I don't remember you. Did you change your name or something? Thank you for dropping by, though. But the capital preservation, where was I? Oh, that you don't take out more than $100,000 a year, and hopefully, if theoretically you're on step 7 by that time, so you don't have a mortgage payment, so that takes your monthly expenses down, and so hopefully you could live on. Oh, Shelby, okay, Shelby. That's why I didn't know who you are. Other YouTube channel. Gotcha, Shell. How are things in Australia, mate? Down under. She forgets to check. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's why I have one, because I wouldn't be able to keep them straight either. So I just have all my stuff on one and use that same one to watch other people's streams as well. But let's see what the problem is with that. Let's see, 57 years old, wife is 54 years young. Smart for saying that. IT, and wife is an RN. Means registered nurse, kids. Retirement saving $1.2 million in mutual funds and ETFs. Okay, well, shouldn't be index funds, dog. As I just said, NASDAQ up to a new high. So, and my large cap managed mutual fund makes more than the NASDAQ. So you're leaving money on the table by doing that. But still, you have 1.2 million on there. And my I didn't read this beforehand. My out of the blue example was saying that you had 1 million. And so that's what you would be getting. So even if you had to pay taxes on it, maybe it would still be around $100,000 a year. So I don't know what the problem is. Oh, also has real estate holdings. So what? I don't see what the problem is. 14-year-old Honda, 8-year-old Toyota. Okay. I mean, apparently millionaires, and they're driving 14 and 8-year-old cars. Fabulous. Total approximate net worth $4.25 million. Liabilities, 2 credit cards. Okay, they're doing it wrong. Never exceeding $2,500 a month and paid off at the end of the month. That doesn't matter. You don't need to play footsie with the bank. Why are you doing that? That just makes it easier for someone to defraud you as well, because the more cards you have, the more fraud that can happen on it. Shelby started paying off her car. Did an extra payment a few weeks ago, so keeping on going. Excellent. Doing Uber Eats and enjoying it. Oh, that's awesome. Hopefully you're making a lot of money there. Some people try to do that and can't make any money there, but it depends on where you live and what time you're doing it, all that stuff. Did they end up changing the time for the show? I haven't seen it in so long. Yes, the Ramsey show on YouTube is at 9 a.m. the next weekday. So the next business day. So for example, the live show that was recorded, there's no live video anywhere ever. But the live radio show that was recorded today at 2 p.m., just like it has been for probably 30 years, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time is when it's recorded. And then that does not show on YouTube until Monday morning and at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And so, particularly why they did it, I don't know. Some suspect it's to drive more traffic to their app, because I believe on there it is still available, still delayed, but at 4 p.m. Eastern. But also the third hour has come back, though, since it changed to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So she can make $100 in 2 to 3 hours. That's not bad, dog. Not bad at all. So where were we? Wait on this. Our inherited 4-unit townhouse nets 100K passive income yearly. Okay, so that does $100. I don't understand how you would have a problem. What is the problem here? Is this a brag call? My wife and I are considering a capital preservation strategy when we retire. We're planning to live off the returns on our retirement mutual funds, 1.2 million now, and planning that in 7 years it will be close to double it. That's what they're supposed to do, about double in 7 years. Yes. As per Empower, our mutual fund and ETF holdings performance for the last year was 31.89%. Yep. And that, is going to be that's above the average. This year's return is 14.7 so far, right? So it's going to be less, but again, over the long term, it's 10 to 12% for the S&P 500. Now, if you have managed funds, they should be beating the index. That's the whole idea. Let's see. Any opinions, suggestions, or recommendations for those using a capital preservation strategy in retirement? Okay, I don't know necessarily that you need to call it a capital preservation strategy. You just don't spend more money than that. You don't take away from whatever amount you want to stay in there, generating more money for you. Basically, it's called the cash basis. It's called, like if you were talking about a savings account, it would be the principal amount that you start with, and then it makes whatever, added a month, whatever percent, and that goes on top of that. But it's the money that you start with, and if you don't want that to go down, you don't ever take out more than it makes per year average. So let's see. I was watching a TV interview with J.L. Collins. I don't know who that is. He was discussing the feasibility of converting to bonds when entering retirement. Okay, and the only reason you would want to do that if you're afraid of the market, and you, sir, seem like you should not be afraid of the market due to your experience with it already. So there would be no need to convert to bonds and make less money. Front load your portfolio with bonds, more conservative. Yeah, you don't do that. There's no need to be conservative later on. I mean, some people are worried about it. You have plenty of wealth, so I think you would be fine either way, especially if you have a paid off house and you're not playing with debt any more than just the 2 credit cards for some dumb reason. In the first few years of retirement, then gradually shift back to a higher equity allocation after you pass the riskiest years. How are the first few years of retirement the riskiest? I would challenge this person on all of this. What is front loading exactly? Okay, well, what you could do is you could have Googled that, but front loading is when you pay fees or whatever at the beginning. So front loading just means you front load your portfolio with the bonds because they're more conservative. In this case, I don't know necessarily that front load actually applies. They're just saying you get the bonds instead, or you convert to bonds from mutual funds, is what I believe whoever this person is. So, but you can get back. You can ask that person what they meant by that, or just Google what front loading is, and then you'll see what front loading is, and then you can decide if you. But basically, it's paying in advance for something, or putting X amount in right away, and that would be front loading rather than doing it over time. How feasible is an early retirement for both right now? It's very feasible. It all depends on your expenses. Again, if we just go with the $1 million in mutual funds and ETFs, okay? If you can, and again, see, it's raised up because you made 31% last 2 years. But if you can live on 10% of that per year, so 100 over 120,000 $120,000 a year, and you should have a paid off house instead of, because you have all this real estate, should not be still having a mortgage when you do that. But if you're doing that, that's wrong as well. But it should be easy. You just don't spend that much. If you're spending more than that, you stop it if you want to retire early. You cannot do everything all at the same time. You can't retire early and also keep your spending up and this investing up, etc., etc. Oh, let's see. 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. and I must be lonely. You're never up at 3 a.m. anymore? Not playing video games or something at 3 a.m.? How's things going with me? Excellent. Thank you for asking. Isn't it meant to be the last few years of your life, of mine? Or, oh, I mean the person, when you would do that? Yeah, I mean, that way, like, if you know, and you really don't need, these people again don't need to even worry about that at all because they have so much money. I can't imagine they have expenditures that are more. They are probably even self-insured and don't even have to have insurance anymore. But you know, you could still have it. Mr. Ramsey doesn't need insurance anymore, but he has it because SWI Sharon wants it. Sharon is the name of his wife, Mrs. Ramsey, and she would rather have insurance rather than have another diamond ring. So she has insurance. So she gets insurance money. She gets a death benefit on Mr. Ramsey, and also all of that money too. So all of the wealth, all the real estate, etc., etc. So why this would even be a thing? This is where you have too much time to think about stuff, I guess, because you know you're being a landlord. You have rental properties. You somehow made all this money to do all this stuff. And so, but you know, you just gotta, if you turn on TikTok and started watching this person, JL Collins, I don't know how, you know, respectable of a financial guy. I've never heard of him. So I don't even know, but most of this stuff here is things that you don't need to worry about. Again, just with the mutual funds and ETF, not to mention the extra, what is it? The other $2 something million you have in other things, or your approximate net worth is 4.2 million. If worse came to worse, you could sell one of the freaking properties, couldn't you? Yes, you could. And so I don't think you have to be worrying about any of this stuff. But you know, people in this situation, 57, especially if he's retired already, really, and just doing real estate, then he doesn't have anything better to do than to overthink financial stuff. So, but basically, the living off the returns the mutual funds generate, that is a capital preservation strategy. And of course, for everything, they have to call it something like that. I mean, do they even say CPS sometimes for that? But they have to call it something like that. And basically, that means it's the same thing, living within your means. And that's your means. If you never take out more than $100,000 average, and you don't take that out if you don't have to, you only take out 80 if you only need $80,000 a year, that kind of thing. And then it will always stay at that basis, and you won't ever eat into the basis. So yeah. But yeah, a lot of people get lost in thought experiments like this and paralysis by analysis. If your mortgage is paid for and you barely have any debt, you should be fine. Yep. Well, I mean, the only debt he talked about was on 2 credit cards, but they do pay it off every month. Again, not advised, but hopefully they don't have a mortgage on any of their properties or their residence either. So Otherwise, that would be riskier than the stuff that he's worried about. That would be riskier in retirement than the stuff that this person's worried about. Every dollar premium versus free. I talked about this, $17.99 for what it seems to include. Yeah, if you're fine with putting your expenses from your bank in manually and not just downloading them over, transferring them over. And of course, your bank has to participate with every dollar in order to do that. Then the free one's fine. But I didn't like it anyway. I went back to my spreadsheet because I can make my spreadsheet do exactly what I want it to do, and I couldn't really do that with the every dollar app. Captain Soap Dish, Roth IRA versus paying student loans. Paying student loans is step 2. Roth IRA is investing. That's step 4. Guess what you don't do while you're still in step 2? Things that are in higher baby steps. Let's see. I was wondering if you guys have any insights to whether drop off $7K towards student loan payment, $40K at 7% enter, am I only debt, or go to maximize my Roth IRA this year? No, you shouldn't be doing any Roth IRA until you get that student loan and your full emergency fund done. Anything other than that, and you're doing it wrong. That one's an ad. So that mean he didn't say whether he was working in real estate. He just said he owned the properties. He has mutual funds, so he's in the market. He's in the market, assuming in a retirement account. But plus he has investment properties, and that's probably where some of the money has coming on from. Shelby says the government's cutting 20% off of their student loans. Okay, that's in the Australia, might, and they're taking 20% off. Congratulations on that. Renaissance Man 2024. Debit cards only. Has anyone here actually done it? Yes. And I just said yes when I previewed this question last night. Let's see. For those of you who have given up credit cards completely and are living a debit card only lifestyle, what changes have you noticed? I noticed that it's not debt whenever I spend money. When I use the card, I know it's coming right out of the money that's in my bank account, and it's not debt. And that's a fabulous thing to be aware of constantly. Every single time I use it, it's not debt. It's never debt. Do you notice that you spend less? I'm not a good example for this because certainly many studies have been done, and people in general will spend more money on a credit card, and people in general will spend more money on either a debit card or a credit card as well than if they were using cash. It's just because the cash of it, when you got to count it out and look at it, and it's not just a piece of plastic. When you actually have to hand the person dollars and go 20, 40, 60, that has more of an impact on people and they don't like it. But for me, I always knew the credit card is debt and a debit card is actually coming out of my bank account. So that's money that I have earned, and it's my money already. Are you more attuned to your finances? Okay, it would be attuned. You need 2 T's there and ends with a D. Are you more attuned to my finances? Well, it does make it easier because there's not that component of, oh, I bought this on credit and so I'll have to pay that back, and I bought this on credit so I'll have to pay that back. Okay, but I bought this part and I went to the grocery store and with my debit card, so I don't owe debt on that, but I have less money because of it, because it came out of my checking account. And so that's like one less thing to think about. Do you take fewer risks is what it is, not less risks. Less would be like as it evaporates the water in this, there's less water in this. Now the number of things would be fewer. The amount of something like water would be less, and the number of things is fewer. Anyway, do you take fewer risks? What kind of risk are you talking about? I try not to take risks with money. That is not advised. What observations have you made? I mean, other than, of course, putting it in the stock market, and stock market can go down. I guess that is a risk, but that's probably about it. What observations have you made? I really appreciate hearing from you and my wife. I'm considering going debit card only. Yes, I have already done it, and I've had no problem getting several apartments. 4 in the last, or was it 5? 4 or 5 of them. I'm losing track now. In the last 15 years. So, and I haven't had a problem getting an apartment, so you don't have to have a credit score for anything in the United States. Supposedly Canada is different. You won't sell you a house. You can't get a mortgage if you don't have a credit score, according to somebody in the Ramsey Show chat, but I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, I've actually done it. And so if you're in America, you do not need a credit score for anything. So that's going to equal $5,000 off for Shelby. Excellent. So we're leaving. She doesn't like credit cards. She still never owned one. Keep it that way. You'd be better off. They did not help me with anything. I'm trying to think if there's anything I bought of like anything that said, oh, well, that was a great idea to do, or that really helped me because of XXX. No, I bought probably stuff for fun. I know I bought a Korg keyboard when I was doing music. Probably use a credit card to get the Sega Genesis system back in the day. Played some video football on there, that kind of thing. So, but that's all. But that's it. Let's see. David Streets, retirement. Am I too late? You are never. If you are breathing, you're not too late. 35-year-old man. Hey, guess what? Don't retire till you're 65. You have 30 years in the market then. Or fewer if you have to first do baby steps 1, 2, and 3 before you do get to step 4 for retirement. I've been much in my 20s and early 30s spending all my disposable income. A lot of us did that. Or worse, we used debt instead. I've always made decent money and made some good financial moves early on, but a divorce from my finance of 8 years. So, well, okay, if she's just your finance, and that's, of course, from the movie Raising Arizona. Fiance, though. So, it's not a divorce if it's just your fiance. That's not a divorce. I mean, it may feel similar to one. If you combined your finances, if you were living together, such as the Ramsey advice says not to do in any circumstance, then, I mean, 8 years, say you back big to 8 years, why did you never get married? That might have been a precursor to, or something that'll let you know that there was a problem. Set me back big, and I feel like, for me, I'm starting over from 0 and don't know if I'll ever recover. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say, from a person who has been divorced and has also since had a significant breakup as well, I'm going to go ahead and say you might be overstating it right now. I'm sure it sucks. But starting over from zero, are you really, or are you just fronting? Let's see. I don't know if I'll ever recover. Here's my current financial picture. I own a condo in a very nice part of Chicago. So if you own it and you're not paying a mortgage on it, then you're not starting from zero, my friend. See, I knew it. I knew it. I paid $3,000 per month mortgage. Okay, so doesn't own it outright. And I have 29 years left on my note. Okay. So did you just get a 30-year loan last year? That was dumb as crap. Of course, may not have been aware of Mr. Ramsey's wonderful advice back then, a year ago. I sold a house that had lots of equity, so it has a value of $400K and I owe $300K. What? Oh, okay. You're talking about the condo. You sold a house that had lots of equity, and so you put down 100K on it, I guess, or between the what you put down on it and the difference, paying how much you paid off in interest or in principal rather, which is not going to be much in the first year. In the first year, the first payments are mostly interest on a mortgage. I have a roommate that pays $1,200 plus half utilities a month, so my total expenses are $1,800. I have 0 credit cards. Fabulous. The only debt I have is $22K left on Honda CRV. Guess what we're doing with that? We're selling that today. Bought it last year. My payments are only $360 per month. That's a no. You sell that, because if it was new, it should still be worth something, and then you can just get a beater and you can have more cash to help you not be starting from zero, which you're not actually doing. You were fronting there. You were exaggerating, my friend. Salary 105K, and I get a 20% annual balance. Currently maxing out my 401K, 23K annually, and my retirement account only has 40K in total. I really just started. Yeah, and you shouldn't have started. You know why? Because you have that debt. Am I screwed, or can I still possibly retire at 65? Yes, you can. Every calculator I do tells me I'm short. Yeah, because you're trying to keep this dumbass car. And I don't know that it's bad enough that you have to sell the condo, but that is a lot of debt on it. You have 100K equity in it. Now, in a very nice part of Chicago, you're not going to get anything for 100K. So you may not be able to live in a nice part of Chicago. So you have to pick your poison. Whether you want to live in a suburb of Chicago and have more of a drive if you work in Chicago, and then you'll have enough money. I got sidetracked. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the to make your finances better, you need to get rid of this debt. Now, let's see. What was this? Where are we? What was I want to look at? Oh, so 105K, 20% annual bonus. Okay, so that bonus will take care of the taxes. So we'll say net is 105. I'm going to lower it to 100 to make it easy math for me. And so 100K, so that would mean that you can afford a $250,000 house, not a 400 one. I mean, but the mortgage is 300K now, so you're pretty close. Like I said, the mortgage should have been 250 and it's 300 now after you paid on it for a year. So you're closer. So I would let you slide on that more than I would let you slide on keeping this car. You get a beater instead, and also not going to let you slide on continuing to invest because you're doing it wrong. See, some people are nutty and they look at the Ramsey baby steps and they say, oh, well, I'm already, let's see, I do have non-mortgage debt, which is step 2 here, but I'm already investing, so I must be on step 4. Nope, not how it works. You are on the lowest one that applies to you. And so if you have non-mortgage debt, you're on step 2. And guess what you don't do? Any of the higher baby steps. You do not do step 3, saving extra money. You do not do step 4, investing. You don't save for kid college. You don't pay extra on the mortgage. Nope, you pay off your dumbass debt, non-mortgage debt. So step 1, 2, and 3, one at a time in this exact order. You don't go ahead until you are done with the previous step. And then once you're done with step 3, then step 3B is save a down payment. So you would be doing that at that time. But then step 4 is 15%. You do steps 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time. Investing 15% retirement, save for kid college if you have kids and if you want to help them. You don't, not a law, you don't have to. And if you don't want to or you don't have kids, you just get to skip step 5. But then you do pay off that home early. So you would be paying off your condo early. But there's no investing while you're in step 2. So you're doing it wrong. People love to do it wrong. But as far as tells you you're short, I don't know if you've done a good calculator. But again, also you're planning on taking forever to pay off the car and also investing at the same time. And guess what that leaves? That leaves no like wiggle room, nothing extra. So anything you have that's going to be an extra expense, then you're going to have more trouble that way. So I would try to talk this person into selling that dumbass new car last year. I mean, maybe it's not a new car, 22K, Honda CR-V. Seems like it would have been more than that, but he also could have put a lot down. So I'd have to find out the parameters of that, because he did only buy it last year, and I guess it could be a used one, but still, you don't need something worth 22K while you're in step 2. A vehicle, rather. You don't need a vehicle worth 22K. Where are we? Oh my goodness, time passes so quickly. I'm talking about finances. This person deleted their account because they got 26 replies and that was too much heat for them, I guess. Or maybe it was just one comment, who knows? How far behind am I? Okay, so yeah, I don't know why they would delete it anyway. The problem is you should not compare yourself to anyone else, because you can't start when they started and you can't have the same income that they can have, and you can't, your life is not their life, so it doesn't do any good to do that. And how far behind you are, it depends on how much you want to have in retirement by the time you retire, I guess, is what all of it can be boiled down to, or what your net worth you want to be when you retire. And you could figure it out that way, but you don't know exactly what you'll need to live on in retirement either. Excuse me, 32-year-old man. I make $83,000 a year. Feel free to ask questions. You would think there would be one, or it would be ask a question. Anyway, but that's funny that it says feel free to ask questions and then deleted their account. I feel like, for me, I'm behind financially, am I? I'm really hoping people can help me. I just feel so burdened by my debt, and it seems like I'll always be. Okay, guess what? You're a lot behind because you have debt. Doesn't matter how much it is, that means you're very behind. Your mindset is very, very behind. 31.7K Roth IRA. All right, that's fine. You've already put money into it because you were dumb and didn't realize that you don't invest until step 4, and you're in step 2 because you have non-mortgage debt. So you stop investing right now and you put all of that investing money to your debt. and that makes your finances better immediately. 17.9K pension style retirement plan, fully vest after 5 years of service, of which I have 3,167. As long as I'm employed by this organization, I cannot withdraw this money. Okay? And you shouldn't be, because that's retirement. If that is required that you do that, like if you're a teacher in the United States, you almost always have to contribute money to the pension. You don't get a choice in that. Probably like a teachers union thing or whatever, but you don't have that. And that's part of the reason why teachers are number 3 on the occupations of millionaires list. 1K starter emergency fund. Let's see if there's more. Essentially nothing in checking right now. I just got paid, so I settled what bills I owe for the month. Great. 3.5K PL. What is that? Personal loan? Yeah, okay. Oh, that's the liabilities. Okay, a lot. 3.5, 3.8 twice. Oh. Yeah. 3.5, 3.8, 3.8 again. So 7.6. So $10.1 thousand. Co-branded airline credit cards, and it says 10, so that's 12,000, 13,000. Okay. I think in brief, that's my financial health right now. Yeah, you don't have any. Right now, I'm temporarily living in an RV, so my fixed expenses are kind of low. Okay, Edit, I forgot to add my car payment in here. Of course, there's more. That's 500. Yep, I have 2 marathon races coming up. I have not been spending anything for the last few months trying to get things down. I've had some bad financial decisions. Yeah, and you're still making them. And I worry I won't feel any relief from the 12K in debt I have until it's all gone. Well, you sell the car and you get a beater instead. Slowly worked it down from 19K, okay, to what did we say it was, 15K or so? It's been tough when the cost of living outpaces income. Yeah, and you don't get a pass on math for that, so you got to make more money. And also quit spending money, and you quit investing while you still have debt to pay off. You're doing it wrong, and so you're way behind because you still have debt. You still might be behind if you didn't have debt, if you hadn't invested, but you already have been investing and you shouldn't have been anyway. Bright Philosopher 531, excuse me. Can I buy a brand new car? Mr. Ramsey's advice is that you have to be a millionaire. That means your net worth is $1 million for you to be able to afford the depreciation that happens to a brand new car. So that's going to be a no unless you are a millionaire. Now, even if you are a millionaire, it has to be purchased entirely in cash, no financing. Let's see what the thing says. My husband wants to buy a brand new car. I never owned a new car. I always scrapped cars that I spend a fortune on over the years to fix. This is what we call, this is the part of the post here that is called justification station. I never, always crappy cars that I spend a fortune on over the years to fix. Yeah, probably exaggerating, trying to justify the new car. He's been given a work vehicle he can use for personal use. So the plan is to trade in both our current vehicles to buy one and dip into our savings to buy the rest. What was the savings for? If it's the emergency fund, that's a NAR. I'm still on maternity leave, so our household income is only around 100K. All right. On stork mode, you would have been pausing the baby steps and you wouldn't be buying a new freaking car anyway. but will slowly rise. I return back to work. Okay, the new car, but then you also have daycare, right? The new car is 28 to 34. We have no bad debt. There's no such thing as good debt, even on a mortgage. That's not good debt. Just because Mr. Ramsey is fine with you doing that, it's because it 99.9% of the time appreciates in value, unlike the car, which goes down in value. That doesn't mean it's good debt. No medical student loans, just our house, okay? And so that's not good debt either. Just because it's allowed doesn't mean it's good. Let's see what else is going on. After trading our current vehicles, and yeah, no, you can't buy a brand new car while you still have a mortgage. No, I'm gonna, for me personally, I would advise you be in baby step 7 before you buy a brand new car. Because again, so much depreciation happens with it. As soon as you drive it off the lot, you know, $10,000, there it goes. In just 1 minute of you driving off the lot. After trading in our current vehicles, paying cash, we might have to dip into our emergency fund, leaving us just under 3 months. Okay, the car is not an emergency. You have 2 other cars that you're trying to sell again to justify this new car. I'm panicked by this, but my husband thinks it'll be a financially good choice as we've spent $8K this year on mechanical costs already, and we'll cut our yearly rego, $900, insurance, servicing costs in half. How do you know? You could buy a new car and it be a lemon and have more problems than the used cars that you have. See, people always justifying, oh, you need to buy a new car because it'll definitely have fewer problems. You don't know that. Do we buy a car? No. Thanks, everyone. My husband and I read all these comments. We will not be buying a new car just yet. We plan to sell our Ford Ranger as they are selling good, selling well. Let's use some of the King's English, though. Used at the moment, looking 13K minimum. That money will go into our offset account. Say, what's an offset account / savings? What's that for? You should probably not be having that. Now, I get it if you decide you want to have a savings account and save to buy the car. I get that. You can make that be a goal and save what you can towards it. So, and of course, you know, you pay cash. Or if it's a sinking fund for anything else, but some kind of offset account, you don't save up money like that unless you're on step 7. The money has to have a name attached to it, not just a savings account that is, oh, like for example, oh, if I all of a sudden want to buy a car, I have money for it. No, that's not what it's for. That's not the idea behind it. You would not have extra savings until your house was paid off. And you're in step 7. Now, you can plan vacations, you can save for vacations, etc., but you don't have an offset account to offset what? Dumb things you decide to do, like buy new cars. I'll use my car, which isn't worth more than all, until it blows up, hopefully long term, while we save more, but keep an eye out for a good second-hand deal in the meantime. Then why is the title, Can I Buy a Brand New Car, then? I don't trust you as far as I could throw you, lady. They said step 4, so no debt, so that's good, but if you have a mortgage, that takes priority over buying a new car. Oh, Rigo's car registration. Shelby pays double that a year. With the offset account, we would put that money into an account to minus the interest. It's a big thing in Australia. Oh, you think they're in Australia? You think they're Aussies? It's related to the home loan. Okay? Is it an escrow? Is it escrow account? Is that where you put in the? Okay, I got it. I got it. Okay, so that's like we call it escrow, an escrow account, and they put the money for your taxes and your insurance in there. So it's probably similar. I don't know if yours includes taxes too, or if it's just for the income. And the reason is that the lender wants you to have that stuff, so they have you put it in an account and then they pay it for you. So basically, you're paying extra on your mortgage, and that much goes into the escrow account. And so you don't manage it, the bank. Yeah, it's simpler. Okay, got you. Thank you. Thank you very much for picking up on that. Look, fortunately, somebody from Australia in the chat. Bright Philosopher, can I buy a... Oh, I already did that one. Paying off my stone after paying off my student loan. Maybe I am stoned. I don't know. I'm not. Barrel Mammal. Paying off my student loans in full. I'm 22 years old and in baby step 2. I graduated in May this year and started my full-time role in June. My student loan payments are deferred until the beginning of 2026, so I don't currently have a monthly payment. I'm living with my parents for 6 to 8 months in order to save up and find an apartment with a friend of mine. I have $9,000 in total student loan debt and nothing else. I should be able to pay off all of my student loans before the end of the year. Fabulous. My question is, how do I pay off my student loans in full? You pay all the money plus all the interest that it's gathering. What kind of call did... I remember hearing a call on the show about a prepaid debit card or something like that, but I'm just wondering what the steps look like to actually do it. You send them the money however you want to send it, a check. You have them charge your debit card or, you know, whatever you want to do. If you want to do a prepaid debit card and put just the amount of one payment on there and do that every single time and like reload it with more money of the exact amount that you want to give them, so you're not giving them actually your debit card. If like this is a federal student loan, I wouldn't think that they would overcharge your checking account or anything like that, but if you want to do that, you can. And basically that's just how you would do that. You would get you can even buy a Visa gift card. Those work exactly like a Visa, but they are not credit cards because you've already given Visa the money for it. You paid in advance to be able to use their card to pay something. You've already used your money to do it, so that is fine, and that can keep people from, that way they don't have anything of yours that doesn't have any money in there. That way, if there's a problem, you just don't add any more money to that particular card, because that if the nefarious person already has all the card information on it. So yeah, that's something you can do. Shelby would call up the company that has the loans and let them know you have the money. Yeah, you can do that as well. Because, I mean, if it's like in deferment or something like that, I, I, I mean, it just depends on the particular lender, probably. I don't know exactly what that would be, but I assume you can call them and make a payment over the phone, that kind of thing. Or you can access probably maybe an online account and pay it that way. But again, you could get a Visa gift card or prepaid debit card, whatever you want to call it, and do it that way. Xavier W152, when doing my 3 to 6 month emergency, 3 to 6 month of expenses emergency fund, do I separate that from my $1,000 emergency fund, or do I pile into that? Also, and this question gets asked so many times, I don't know why people can't make the leap, but we'll talk about it in a second. Let's see. Also, if I plan on purchasing a vehicle, would that be a separate account or go into the same account as the emergency fund? For me, that wouldn't be a problem. Again, I also didn't have a problem with just using a debit card. I didn't have to ever use cash, and neither did my ex-wife, on our payoff or baby step 2 journey. Did not have to do that. We stuck to the budget, and so it would not be a problem for me personally to have the emergency fund in the same account of anything else, because I would know how much the emergency fund is supposed to be, and so that way that account should never go under that amount. But for some people, probably for most people, I would imagine keeping it in separate accounts would be good for them to separate it so that there's no mistakes and they don't accidentally dip into the emergency fund. And so that's definitely worth doing a different account. Pretty much the title says it all. I'm fairly new to budgeting and every dollar. Also, where do I put the money that I allocate? Do I just keep the allocated money in my checking and use discipline to not use the money that isn't directed somewhere? Well, I would probably want to at least get bank interest on it. A lot of people like to go high yield savings account, but I'm not a big proponent of that. I recommend that it be more liquid than a high yield savings account, because most of them don't have debit card access or check writing privileges on that. And the problem with being in a high yield savings account, yeah, you make more interest on it, and that part's great, but emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days for you to transfer money. And especially if the account holder and the only one that knows how to get the money is like the person in a coma or whatever, is the person that the emergencies happen to, and they are indisposed and they cannot get out the money, whatever the money is needed for. So that would be a problem. You need to make sure that your wife can get that money as well. Make sure she's on the account as well. So, and again, use discipline to not use that money that isn't directed somewhere. That would be, again, no problem for me, but I know that about myself. And if you know that that probably wouldn't be best for you, then don't try it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's why I don't understand these money guys, the money guy people. They are fine with you trying to see if you can handle credit cards. They do not recommend that you pay off low interest debt. They are fine with you debt leveraging. So that seems irresponsible for me, because they're telling you, oh, go ahead and see how you can handle debt. And, and then what, in 6 months later, then, the person's $50,000 in debt, and they're, oh, I guess you couldn't do it, sorry. So that seems irresponsible to me. Would do 36 months in expenses and then put it separately. There you go. Allied 1987, 529, education count or invest in mutual funds. Let's see why. Let's see what the dealio is. Wondering if it would be better to open a 529 educational account for my niece and nephew and put in 25 a paycheck and let it grow. Give to them when they graduate. No, that's not how it works. It has to be used for educational expenses. So they would have to be paying for their school as they went along. Or it'd be better to do a Charles Schwab's, nice try on the Charles Schwab's account and invest 50 into a mutual fund for them. And take half of it out when one graduates and the rest for when the other graduates, thanks for the help. If you want to give them a money gift after graduation, you don't do the 529 account because again, that has to be used for educational purposes. And I don't know if they're doing student loans and you could use that on the back door end for paying off the student loans. I don't know exactly about how that works. And also you have to check because each state's 529 plan could be different. Now, if you're doing an ESA, educational savings account, that is nationwide, and so that only has one set of rules. But the 529 is a state-sponsored plan, and so that could be different between each state. All right, and let's just do one more. HSA, it's a short one. Confident Donut HSA. I'm new to HSA. That would be a health savings account. I know that this is a health savings account. Great. That's pre-tax money, but I'm wondering is it invested into to allow it to grow? It would be invested into mutual funds or single stocks, but of course the single stocks would not be a Ramsey advice, would not be the Ramsey advice. So it would be put in mutual funds. If you have good mutual funds, the same ones you would use, unless whoever is housing your HSA has limited investing options, and you might have to pick the closest you can get here. The thing a lot of people do with those, especially richies who like make too much money, and they max out the 401k amount very quickly, and and Roth IRA if they even qualify for that. It can allow you to use it as another tax advantage. As you said, the contributions are to it, what is invested into it is pre-tax money, and so you get tax savings on that. But in order to let it continue growing all the time without ever using it to pay medical expenses, you would have to be able to cash flow or have other savings or something like that for the medical costs instead, in order to let it keep growing. But you can also, for a health savings account, you must have a high deductible health insurance account, health insurance plan. Michelle has a question. Actually, I have a quick question for you. So currently, I had to pay $1,500 for my car service last week. Sadly, I had some issues. I had to put money back into my account. Should I use my Uber Eats money to add it back in? What account is that? The emergency fund? Did you have to use emergency fund for your car service? If so, yes, you would do that before paying off debt. You would go back to, you're back at step one at that point, and you do your emergency fund. I do have a savings fund for emergencies at the moment, but should it be worth it? I'm not understanding. Yes, I did. Okay, so yeah, so you are back in step one then. Yeah, and that's always going to be the advice because you want to have the emergency fund. Now you should, if you have non-mortgage debt, you should only have $1,000, or you can have the OLC equivalent to that. Either one, or you can have 1,000 Australian dollars. But 5K is more, and it should be going to your debt. Is the Ramsey advice. We can still be friends if you don't do that, though. A lot of people, for example, my pal Sid will tell you. I don't think she's ever said to 5, but she says if having $2,000 instead of $1,000 is going to get you to do the baby steps, then I would be fine with you doing that. My problem is for people, because you know how people are, you give them an inch, they take a mile. Um, if they change that, then what else are they going to change about the baby steps? Then they're also going to be investing when they're on step 2, et cetera, et cetera. So it sets a dangerous precedent to do that. But of course, you know, anybody that doesn't do the baby steps, and you might be surprised to know that many of my friends and family do not follow the baby steps at all, or have changed some things about it, and I am still friendly with those people. I still love those family members and friends, and so I don't do that. I think they're doing it wrong, of course. You're doing it wrong, but yeah, you can be friends with somebody that doesn't do the right thing financially that you think is the right thing. They have the right to do whatever they want to with their money. They earned it. They have to live the life for their. I'm using it for emergencies, right? So if it's actually an emergency, yeah, the next emergency, having money for the next emergency trumps the paying off debt with that money. So the same part, you get people who, and this is part of the how to do the baby steps right song. It's the first line is step 1, 1K emergency fund. You don't save more to add to that sum. And what some people do, you don't use it to pay off debt, and don't even think about higher steps. So yeah, you don't use any of your $1,000 emergency fund to pay off debt, because paying off debt is a smart thing to do, and you should do it as soon as possible, but it's not an emergency. So if you spend $1 out of this $1,000 for you have a dollar emergency of some type, then you pause baby step 2 because you're back down into baby step 1 again. So yeah, so that is the Ramsey advice on that. And what else did I want to do here before leaving? Yeah, I do have to open in the morning. That means I have to get up in 7 hours or so. Fun times. 6:30 Eastern time start time for me in the AM. But then I have most of Saturday evening and half of the afternoon available for Saturday. I have Saturday night off basically, and then Sunday off as well. So fun times. What was that I wanted to say? Oh yeah, if you ever are inclined, and I've tried to get many people to co-host with me, just to give their opinions and insight on stuff, as you know, the Ramsey advice and stuff like that, but to comment on these questions and these comments. So Shell, if you are ever interested in that, how that would work is we would use Discord to do that. Is it really hot at the moment? Yeah, I have a fan going that is that close to me, that close to my body right now. It's just off the camera there. It is, what does it say it is? 65, so, but it's hotter in the apartment because it's right where the sun is shining on it all day while I'm at work. Oh, you would love that. Okay, all right. Basically, we'd use Discord and do a voice call, and you know, video if you allow it as well from the Discord, and so. And we would just have a fun conversation. Okay, so we can talk about doing that at some time. This evening stream that I do is at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so that started an hour and 15 minutes ago. So whatever time that is for you, that's when it starts. And I'll be doing one, and I don't expect you to be available this weekend with such short notice, but today's Friday. I'm doing one. I'm also doing one Saturday and Sunday. And maybe Monday as well. I don't know. We'll look at the ticker and find out right now. All right. And she thinks that would be fun. Okay. Well, you're my first take. Oh, you're about 9, 10 a.m. Okay. So it'll be the morning for you and it'll be night for me. And we'll have a good time. All righty. And that will also be good because I may have questions from questions for you about things like specifically Australia, but other things as well. And then you may, like you just had a couple questions for me in this stream here, and you could have that. Like if I explain something and I think I'm explaining it very well, and I might not be. So yeah, I mean, co-host is the way to go. So I understand why the Money Guy show, it's, and people call it wrongly the Money Guys. It's still called the Money Guy Show, and it's like there's two of them now. So, but I understand a co-host because that just makes it completely easier because you got two brains going at the same time. And so, yeah, very, very excited about that. I'm looking forward to that. I've been trying to get people to do it for years and years. Yeah. Okay, so where was I? Oh, yeah. Back to youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And again, the streams are below the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlist. And as I told Shell earlier, I have all of my interests on one YouTube channel. The Ramsey Show After Show and answering your financial questions, excuse me. And the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. And let's take a look. If I am a Ramsey solution, not just some guy talking or trying to be trolly or anything like that. I'm not doing that. I'm actually a Ramsey Solution certified financial coach, and I liked it so much. I didn't buy the company. It was I think a Razer company that somebody bought because they liked their Razers so much. And that was the commercial. I liked it so much, I bought the company. But I like the Ramsey advice so much, and I like the effect it has had on my life. I just want to spread it to everybody and tell everybody about it and explain it to everybody. So that's what I'm doing. And if you would like a consultation / assessment with me, a free one, absolutely free, no obligation, you can do that by emailing me. Schedule changes way too much now with my new job to use the website to do it because I would have to update it just about every day. So just email me and give me a couple options for when days and times you might be available, and we will make it work out. That's coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney or CashApp as an alternative, $Coach Steve Money. It wasn't taken. I think they shut down in the UK and everywhere else, and now they're just in the USA, I think. A Walmart gift card you could do to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, and as always, subject to change. So if I'm supposed to be on, I apologize. But again, my work schedule does change at the last minute sometimes. The Ramsey Show After Show is 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. And I did the one on August 4th, but I missed the one yesterday morning, August 7th, because I went into work early. Answering your financial question stream. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I did all of these, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today is Friday, August 5th. And also Saturday, August 6th, and Sunday, August 8th. I'll be doing those. And sometime before tomorrow night's show, I will look at my schedule for next week and tell you what days the after show and the 8 p.m. stream will be happening for next week. So I'll have that information for you tomorrow. Oh, let's say, just send me a message. We can figure it out. It's hard because I'm 17 hours in front of you. Well, as long as you're awake, that's important. If you're awake and you know, in sound mind and body, that's all that counts. So we'll look at, yeah, I will contact you on the Discord show. And thanks so much for watching and being even considering it is probably you've like responded the best so far. The closest to a well, absolutely 100% certain to it. That's great. And so I look forward greatly to that. And you can promote your channels if you want, or anything else. Your any other plugs you have. I don't know what else you would have, but you can talk about anything that you're doing. Whether it makes you any money or not, you can do that. Alrighty. Yeah, it's good. Always good to catch up. Good to catch up. And of course, you can message me at any time. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.